The Wii U, a console from a bygone era. It was loved, hated, and also misunderstood. And for those who did love the console, they truly loved the games. Games like Mario Kart 8, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Hyrule Warriors, Pikmin 3, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions, all of which eventually found a home on the Wii U's successor, the Nintendo Switch. And along with those Wii U games, many others made their way to the hybrid console. Except for one. This lone game was one that received critical acclaim by the gaming industry at the time. It received multiple showings at E3 2015 and was even nominated for Best RPG at the Game Awards in 2016. But beyond the accolades and positive reception exists a game that for its time was incredibly ambitious but slightly limited by the console it was on. And that game is Xenoblade Chronicles X. Whether you were happy about it, didn't care, or you were upset about it, for a good portion of the Nintendo Switch's life cycle, there were many Wii U ports and remakes. And what's also true is that a lot of these ports did very well in sales. Games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe sold extremely well. And because of these high sales, this shows Nintendo two different things. One, people are willing to buy Wii U ports on the Switch. And two, those ports will sell better than they did on the Wii U. Also, there's a lot of desire for the game. People have been asking for this game to come to the Switch for quite some time. And I personally think it would be a missed opportunity for Nintendo and Monolith Soft to not bring Xenoblade Chronicles X to the Switch. From what it looks like, the main Xenoblade Chronicles storyline is complete. And because of that, the developers at Monolith Soft are now freed up to develop a new storyline, or continue a previously established one. And I think you know where I'm going with this. This game needs a sequel. And if you've played the game already, you know exactly what I mean. I'm sure the developers also think the story needs to be continued, but before a sequel can see the light of day, the original needs to become relevant again. And the only way to do that is to bring it to the Switch for people to enjoy. And the folks at Monolith Soft most likely understand this already. While it is possible to just drop the sequel of a game onto a console long after its predecessor was released, it makes it less likely for people new to the series to want to jump in. Mostly because they feel a bit apprehensive about jumping in midway without having played the original. This is why time and time again, we've seen remakes of certain games come out before the launch of their sequels. Think back to Kingdom Hearts. Before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, we had the remasters of 1 and 2 get released. That way, people can jump into the series before the new iteration comes out. And of course, the same thing has happened with the Metroid Prime series. As we all know, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out at some point to the Switch, or maybe its successor. And what did Nintendo do? They put the original Metroid Prime game on the Nintendo Switch. While 2 and 3 haven't been released yet, it's very likely that we're going to see them on the console as well. This is going to give people the opportunity to get caught up with the series and then finally jump into Metroid Prime 4 when it comes out. Also, Xenoblade Chronicles X could be a nice stopgap for the new IP they've been working on for quite some time. If we have Xenoblade Chronicles X to play around with, they could work on their game in the meantime. And there's honestly so much content in the game that it would definitely hold people over until the next big Monolith title. Since the launch of the Nintendo Switch, it's been evident that this is the console for RPGs. We've seen games like Monster Hunter Rise, Octopath Traveler, Shin Megami Tensei, Pokémon, and so many more do incredibly well on the Switch. And because of that, Xenoblade Chronicles X would be right at home on the hybrid console. Why hasn't Xenoblade Chronicles X come to the Nintendo Switch yet? Well, there are quite a few reasons, most of which are only known by the higher-ups at Nintendo and Monolith Soft, but one confirmed reason comes from Tetsuya Takahashi from Monolith Soft. In an interview with US Gamer, he stated that the game hadn't come to the Nintendo Switch yet because of monetary concerns. To put it simply, it costs a lot of money to put it on the Switch. Keep in mind, this interview was about a year or so into the Switch's lifecycle, meaning this was before Xenoblade 2 was able to make a major profit. And of course, way before Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was even a thing. So it's very likely that Monolith Soft has made enough money by now from both of those games, as well as the DLC associated with them, to potentially bring Xenoblade Chronicles X to the Switch. Beyond the monetary concerns, I think there's another reason why Xenoblade Chronicles X hasn't made its way to the Switch. And that is because of power. That's not me saying that the Nintendo Switch isn't powerful enough to run Xenoblade Chronicles X. I just feel that they want to wait for an even more powerful system to help the game truly shine. Inevitably, Nintendo is going to release a new console. And when they do, I feel that that will be the time for Xenoblade Chronicles X to make a reappearance. With a more powerful console, the game will be able to run a lot more smoothly than it did back on the Wii U. If you didn't know, the game needed extra patches to make it run better. With a new and improved console, one that would be vastly more powerful than the Wii U, there would be no need for patches. But beyond that, they can be a bit more ambitious with how they develop the game. They can expand on the world and how the player interacts with it. They can make a much more robust online experience instead of relegating it to just one small section of the game. The game would look better and run better. To me, it would just make sense to do that. That being said, I really believe that Xenoblade Chronicles X will not be a mere port. Instead, it will be a remaster, the likes of which we would have never expected. And the reason I feel this way is because of how Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition made its way to the Nintendo Switch. They updated the game to make it better and more palatable to the current gaming audience. Because Xenoblade Chronicles X came out quite some time ago, it would make sense to make the Nintendo Switch version much more fleshed out and refined to fit in more with the current gaming climate. As games become much more advanced, gamers are asking for more, so Xenoblade Chronicles X will probably need a few enhancements to keep up. So I made mention of Xenoblade Chronicles X potentially coming to the successor to the Nintendo Switch. And I wanted to add on to that this game would be an amazing launch title for that console. A vast open-world action RPG coming to the Switch's successor on launch day? Yeah, that's a definite pickup from me. But even if it doesn't become a launch title, it would still be a really good game to come to the console. Of course, I would hope it would come earlier in the console's lifecycle, but you never know what could happen. And along with that, there's also the chance that they're not even going to bring it to the successor. They could just bring it to the current Switch and leave it be. But when do you think we'll see Xenoblade Chronicles X make a reappearance? Let me know in the comments. I'm DJ Raviesta. That's gonna be it for me. The Rhinos are watching. Good night.